I'm Evan from the Lonely Stoner podcast, and today I'm going to be talking about some recent UFC matchups that have been made for the future. Most prominently, UFC 314, which I think is in Canada, somewhere in Canada. And also some recent injury news in the NBA that's happened. Big, franchise player has been injured. We'll touch on that later. And also I'll be talking about the future of some of these UFC divisions and what's going to be going on with the champions and who they're going to be fighting, because there's some uncertain waters in some of these divisions. So I'm going to be starting off with the Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez match. UFC 314 for the undisputed UFC featherweight title, meaning that Topuria has stuck by his word and vacated the featherweight belt and is allowing other people to fight for it. I didn't think he was serious personally. I thought he was just trying to get more money from the UFC for another title defense against Diego Lopez or whoever, Movsar Evloev or whoever. But nah, man, he stuck true to his word. He said he wanted to go up to lightweight. He's going to go up to lightweight. His fight with Islam has not been confirmed, but you'd really have to think that that's the next matchup for both of them. But I'll get onto that one later, as we're on the Volkanovski-Lopez match right now. Featherweight title match. Both fighters deserve this fight. Fuck Movsar Evloev. He's a very technical grappler. I'll give him that. He's an amazing grappler. He has good physical attributes in the octagon. He's big, not big height wise for the 145 division, but his frame is quite big for 145. But he's probably going to be next up after whoever wins this fight between Volkanovski and Lopez. Early predictions, I'm going Volkanovski, man. And I'm not even the biggest Volkanovski fan, but I think that, he's got that veterans mentality that his chin might be gone, it really might be gone. But a head kick from Islam and Topuria knocked out Max Holloway, so it's not as if, Topuria knocked you out, man, you're finished. Like, no, I don't really think that's how it works. I think he's still very good. I think he would be one of the first fighters over 35 or 36 to win a title in the lower weight class if he does go on to do that. But it's a fantastic match. I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be really good. I do worry for Volk because the power of Lopez is definitely dangerous. They're very, very dangerous. And if he can catch him and knock him out, that can definitely happen. I mean, I can see like a short, uppercut in the clinch that Lopez likes. Just getting close to him, grabbing him, giving him a couple shots in dirty boxing in the clinch, and then just crumbling Volkanovski. But I think Volkanovski's going to have the grit, the veteran's mentality, the experience, and the overall fight IQ to win. I think he's going to mix in the grappling more. If you've been following him, you see, and he's been preparing for a grappler type matchup. It seems he's been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu and grappling, I saw. So I think maybe he's going to mix that in this fight. Although Diego Lopez is supposed to have some decent grappling, but I mean, when someone says you have decent grappling in the UFC, it's usually not good enough. A guy like Volkanovski is one of the best grapplers in the division. I think he's going to mix that in. I think he's going to tire out Lopez. I think he's going to get probably like a late finish or decision victory. I think he's going to do good in this fight. But the next match we'll go on to, same card, 5-round co-main event, Michael Chandler versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. This is another interesting one, to say the least. Michael Chandler, who really, if he loses this one, then he is certifiably washed, because although Paddy has some skill, Michael Chandler's supposed to be competing with the Dustin Poiriers, the Gaethjes, the Charles Oliveira's, these kind of guys. Although he's not really competing with them, he's only beaten Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson in the UFC. But, it's a tricky one because Paddy, I think he provides, although he's fought Charles, who has an amazing submission game. I feel like Paddy is more aggressive in his submission game than Charles is. I think Charles has better sense of when he gets it, but Paddy is way more aggressive in trying to find that submission. And I can definitely see a scramble happening and Paddy getting his back and choking him out. I can 100% see that happening. I don't think that's 100% gonna happen though, because Chandler possesses his own threat, his own power, his own strength in the wrestling, and you have to say he has decent cardio as well. He does slow down. He definitely slows down throughout the fight, but he doesn't stop throughout the entire 5 rounds. So I really don't feel like although he's getting older, it wasn't even that long ago he fought at the end of last year on the John Jones card. So I think Michael Chandler does have a good chance to win this fight, definitely. But I'm favouring Paddy probably by a submission. 5 rounds. If it goes 5 rounds, who would I think would win? I'm not sure. I'm not sure either of these guys are 5-round fighters. Obviously, Michael Chandler has a lot more experience in that. I believe this is Paddy's first 5-round fight in the UFC. But yeah, no, this is a good one. I'll probably go with Paddy by a submission. Don't think it's gonna go to a decision. Though if it did, I could see Chandler winning. It's going to be a good one though. UFC 314 co-main event to that Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez fight. I'm rooting for Paddy though. UK, got to. And Michael Chandler is, probably less said about Michael Chandler the better, to be honest. Being so real. If you've seen any of MMA Guru's videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But moving on to some other matchups that have been made. Obviously, because Diego Lopez has been taken out of the Yair Rodriguez fight, Yair Rodriguez is now fighting Patricio Pitbull, who's making his UFC debut. Obviously, a long-time Bellator fighter. I think he was a champion. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really following Bellator or knowing who's the champions over there, but he's the champion from over there, featherweight fight. Don't really know too much about Patricio Pitbull. I know he's older. I know he's a well-rounded Brazilian guy, but I'm probably going to go for Yair in this one. I'm going to go for the speed, for the youth, for the random Yair Rodriguez performance where he's good every so often and then he just looks shit in other fights and just wilts, but it is what it is. I'm going to go for Yair Rodriguez in this one. Probably some sort of knockout or TKO. Can definitely see a decision though, because his style is really favourable for the judges. The way he fights, and obviously because he's Mexican and this stuff, he's just, people like him and he gets those favourable things his way. So either decision or some sort of knockout TKO kick can definitely see happening. I think he has a bit of a height advantage on Patricio Pitbull, as he does on a lot of guys he fights in that featherweight division, to be completely fair. And then you got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. This is all on UFC 314, by the way, so this is looking like a really good card. I am definitely going for Prates in this one, man. Prates is the man. This guy is just smoking guys and smoking cigarettes. He should be smoking Zeus, but I can't control him, but he probably does, to be honest. But I see him drinking it up. I see him smoking his little cigarettes after the fight, before the fight. He's doing his thing, Carlos Prates, man. I like to see him shine, Jeff Neal, this guy looks good. Like, he looks really good sometimes, and then the other times it's just a pure, for example, okay, it's like this. In half of his fights, those 3 rounds feel like 5 rounds because he's going to war and it's a back and forth fight and he's competing and it's a great fight. And then the other half of his fights, the 3 rounds go by and you're like, bloody hell, that's 3 rounds, because nothing happens in those fights. Just a lot of clinching, a lot of nothing happening in those fights. So you're really thinking, is it going to be one of those fights where he's aggressive, like his last fight against RDA? Even though he got an injury in that fight, RDA, he still was getting dealt with by Jeff Neal. So is he going to come in like that, or is he going to come in like the Magny fight, where he's just doing nothing and just getting clinched up, and I can't remember. I think it was did he fight Ian Gary? I think Ian Gary. Just pure clinch fest where he lost. Like, what version of Jeff Neal am I going to get against Prates? Because if he pulls up like how he should against Prates, I still think he'll lose, but it'll be a banger of a fight. And I would give him much more of a chance to win if he's moving like that. And he has to move like that against Prates, because if he moves like how he does in his other fights against Prates, where he lost, he'll get smoked quickly. It will be a long day for Jeff Neal. And that's what I'm going to go. I'm going to say it's going to be a long day for Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal is going to get smoked out. And that's going to be that. These other matchups are a bit hit and miss. And Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. I like Nikita Krylov. You don't see him fight that often. He's been in the UFC for quite long. And Dominic Reyes, we like Dominic Reyes over here. He beat John Jones. And his career fell off after that, but it's because they robbed him. And now he's back. He's back. Dominic Reyes is back. Yeah. Championship run. Yeah, 2-fight win streak is what we like to see. Going to continue. I don't know. Nikita Krylov is good. I like him, but yeah, I'll pick that one closer to the fight. You got Dan Ige versus Sean Woods, and I'm going with Sean Woods and the daddy long legs tarantula Donny. This guy has the most strange build I've ever seen in the UFC. Like, his legs take up like 3/4 of his body. Like, he looks like two children in the trench coat. Like, his legs take up like 75% of his body. He looks like some sort of Disney cartoon character. It's really quite ridiculous. But he's fighting Dan Ige. Like Dan Ige, he's a warrior. He's one of those fighters you have to like. Featherweight bout. But yeah, I'll probably go for Sean Woods in that one, but I'll have to pick a bit closer to the fight, watch a bit of tape. And then you got a women's fight, which I don't care about. And Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. Obviously, we're rooting for Chase Hooper here, because I play WMMA, and I know he's like 26 years old, and Jim Miller's like nearly 40 or 41 or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, we're rooting for Chase Hooper here on a nice little win streak to win this one. Prove that he can beat, an old but certified guy in Jim Miller, who will, if you're a bum, Jim Miller will beat you. So, and we know Chase Hooper isn't a bum, so really he should be winning this fight. I'd definitely go with Chase Hooper. And then you got some other bullshit fights that no one cares about, which I will probably watch. And then you have Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. This is a good one. I'm probably going Bilal. I do like Jack Della, but he hasn't fought in quite. I think his last fight was against Gilbert Burns, which was quite a while ago. So I don't know how long it will be since he's fought once he steps in the cage versus Bilal. Probably quite a while, and probably the same for Bilal as well, because Bilal hasn't fought since UFC 3 or 4 in London. Obviously, he was supposed to fight Shavkat, but he got injured, didn't he? And Shavkat he's injured himself, which is why he's not fighting. But I just want to say, to the people saying that Shavkat Rakhmonov should have to fight another guy after this or whatever, what the fuck? He was booked against Bilal, then he went at 40 and Gary and won, and then what? You're telling me he has to go fight? Also, I know he doesn't fight that often, but you're telling me he has to go fight again after he fought after earning his title. You wanted to fight 2 times after already earning his title shot. That's weird to me. Like, he should just wait and make his money and so all that shit. Like, why just be fighting? Why fight somebody you don't have to fight when your title shot's right there? So yeah, that's what I think he should do. But that one, yeah, Bilal, I'm probably going for Bilal, to be honest. And obviously, because Jack Della is not fighting Leon Edwards anymore, now Sean Brady has stepped in to fight Leon Edwards at UFC London. 4 weeks notice. Just a little over. No, about 4 weeks notice. This is probably a more one-sided fight than the original, to be honest. I think this fight against Jack Della would have been mostly a striking battle. And now, Leon Edwards, 4 weeks out, is fighting a big-time grappler. Sean Brady's last performance against Gilbert Burns was quite impressive. I don't think Leon is going to fight like Gilbert Burns at all. So Sean Brady's not going to be able to do that to Leon Edwards. And also, Leon Edwards' wrestling is better than Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns' submission game and submission defense and guard play is better than Leon Edwards. But Leon Edwards' wrestling is better than Gilbert Burns. So I don't think it's going to be as easy for Sean Brady to just relentlessly push on him and take him down and basically do what Bilal did to him. But even then, Bilal didn't dominate him from pillar to post. Bilal won, he did good, but he didn't absolutely dominate Leon Edwards in that fight. So I think this sort of less version of Bilal, Sean Brady, maybe with slightly better striking than Bilal, might be able to get one over on Leon. But personally, I'm going to go for Leon shucking off the takedowns. Obviously, Sean Brady will get some, definitely. But he's going to be shucking off the takedowns, I think. And he's going to be doing what he does on the feet, just standing on the outside, landing his couple shots. But really, if Sean Brady can have success in those takedowns, he will definitely win round after round and probably end up winning the fight. But I'm going to believe that Leon Edwards' wrestling is good enough to stop Sean Brady the way he couldn't stop Bilal in the moments he needed to. And then, well, that's it for UFC. It's waffled on there for a good 17 minutes. And now I'm going to go to a big injury that this actually just came out about less than an hour ago. Victor Wembanyama is out for the rest of the season with deep vein thrombosis in right shoulder. I'll be honest, I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to try to explain to anyone what that means. Like that guy said in the podcast, if I don't turn around and you're wearing a lab coat, then I don't want to hear it. So, yeah. I don't know what that means, but I'll be honest, with a guy like Wembanyama, I said this, guys like Wembanyama, guys like Chet Holmgren, guys like Kristaps Porzingis, these guys can't play every game. They're going to have moments where they get injured and they miss certain parts of the season. But realistically, the Spurs weren't looking to do anything crazy this season anyway. So, yeah, this isn't a huge injury crisis. You know, if he's going to get over this and be better next season and his health can improve, then good. But if this is a thing that is going to be a recurring injuries, then it's going to be quite peak for him if this is just going to continue. But I'm reading there's some sort of blood clot or something, so it's more of an illness or something like that, more than a physical type of injury. But people are saying that certain players have had to retire from this, so this could be really bad, it seems. Yeah, apparently this happened to Chris Bosh, and he had to retire because of it, that's rough, man. If this guy's only young as well, he's like 22 or 21 or something, so if he has to retire because of this, it's not going to be nice, to be honest. We're going to have to hear more about that one in the future, but man, that's quite rough, to be fair. R.I.P. the Spurs. Yo, fucking hell. Yeah, no, the Spurs held that L there, I can't lie. Big L for the Spurs as usual. Both Spurs are just holding L after L, but less said about that, the better. Well, I'll leave you with that. I've been Evan from the Lonely Snowden podcast. Have a good one.